We'll go ahead and call the meeting today, Tuesday, February 18th, 2025, Shelby County Board of Supervisors. Any conflicts, guys?
None, sir.
Okay, have a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mike, second by Charlie. All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes of the last meeting, any changes?
Motion approved.
I'll second.
Motion by Charlie, second by Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
Claims today. Everybody have a chance to look at them?
Did look through them, did not
Yep.
see anything that I had a question on, so I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion from Mike, second from Charlie. All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Kinkle,
Okay,
welcome.
good morning, guys. Morning, ladies. How are you?
Good.
Good so far. Good. Pipeline reports. Okay, I'm gonna run through these. There's 6 bills been introduced in the House. 3 of them have already gone through subcommittee. I wasn't able to get there at another conflict that day. They deal with eminent domain, permit length for pipelines, and the Office of Consumer Advocate. The reason Office of Consumer Advocate on there, Governor Reynolds changed that a couple years ago, and they were like non-existent during the IUB hearings. And so the Iowa House is not happy about that. They'd like to see that change so that the public has a voice out there. There is 3 other bills that have been introduced but have not been come out of our designated subcommittee yet, and that has to do with IUC board members attending public hearings, liability insurance requirements, and the intervenor process in contested cases before the IUC. There's also been 3 Senate bills introduced having to do with eminent domain, land survey provisions, and establishing statewide setbacks and addressing safety. Those bills have not been assigned in the Senate yet. Just as a follow-up, our 8th Circuit appeal is anticipated to be ruled on in a time frame of May to August. And that's just a best guess by our attorneys from what they've seen in the past.
Steve, if I can interrupt.
Yep.
The bills in the legislature, final week is coming up soon, right?
Don't quote me, but I think it's around the 15th of March.
Okay, so another month, so if they don't...
3 weeks, I would say,
Okay,
or
so,
so.
but if they don't get through that, there's really no chance of them becoming, having a chance of passing this year.
Yeah, unless there are tax issues, then they don't have to get through the final week. But these bills here would have to be a part of something.
Yeah, so the ones that don't even have a subcommittee yet, probably not
I don't know.
gonna really see the light of day.
You would think that, but then on the next part, they've had some bills where they come up one day and they've already been through subcommittee and they're up for floor debate. So
Yeah.
Very good, okay. Thanks.
depends on where the priorities are.
Yeah, all right.
From what I've seen. Bremer and Wright County Supervisors, a couple of guys that I've worked with through the pipeline in the last 3 years. Bremer just got involved last year. He's on phase 2. They're scheduling or putting together a CO2 pipeline meeting update the day before the ISAC in the afternoon. They haven't have a location yet, but I guess it's going to be around 3:30 in Des Moines.
It'll be on Wednesday, right?
Right, on the 12th. I'll let you guys know where that's going to be, and it's tentatively at 3:30 for about an hour or so, and it's mostly to educate and answer questions for the phase 2 supervisors, and then get some updates like what's going on with some of the court cases of judicial review. And so Corey and Dean have asked me to participate in that, and I'm pretty sure Whipple's going to be involved with it too. So I'll as I learn more, I'll forward that out to
Yeah, I'm
you guys.
planning to be there for that as well.
Okay. Now we're going to move on to one of the main reasons I'm here today. If you could pull up the map. Okay, you got it up there. Okay. I've had these questions and I've kind of wondered myself, okay, here is a map of the pipeline going through the county. That's the proposed route. Okay, and it's broke down into 7 sections, because it's all GPS, Google Earth, it's exact, and we even reached out to Iowa DNR, so we get exact locations for animal confinements and feedlots. So all that is on there, okay? I'm not gonna go through all the maps, but I would like to pull up map number 2, because that's where Erling is at. You can see Erling there, and just so you have an idea of reading it, let's go down at the bottom. I'm gonna say lime green area, that's our 1,000-foot setback that we have in our ordinance, okay? So you can see the light blue dots are residences. The animal confinements are kind of a diamond in white. I don't think there's any on that map. Got our zoning setback and Summit's proposed pipeline. As you can see there, in red is the city limits of Erling. Erling's been one of our biggest concerns. You can see the pipeline, it shows it almost touching it, it's like 130 feet in the pipeline area up there. And our biggest concern is that part of Erling up there, that's their new growth area, and that's where housing has started on the southeast side of that, moving up. And so if you had a release, rupture, anywhere along that east boundary, all the way from the southern end of Erling, CO2 is invisible, it's odorless, and the colder it is, especially like a day like today, it's just gonna sit right in the bottoms. It won't move unless there's a wind moving it along. So if you had any kind of rupture along there, it's gonna go down towards the Mosquito Creek and the newest area where housing is on the east side of Erling and down by the fire department. Even on, like in the middle of town there, you can see Highway 37 going through there. It's within 300-400 feet of those homes there. You see the homes that are in red are the ones that are within 1,000 feet. Then you have the baseball diamond there, and it's within a few hundred feet of that. And so that's why the ordinances for protection are so important, okay? So with that said, I put together a summary sheet so you can see exactly if the proposed line, what it looks like, and if you overlay it with our setbacks.
Stephen, quick question.
Yep.
Pipeline buffer, what significance does that have? What is that?
Okay.
What does that mean?
Okay. PHMSA, who's in charge of safety, it's a national safety for hazardous pipelines, they have a emergency response zone. And that zone, thanks for bringing that up, that zone is a mile right now. But the new PHMSA rules that are coming out, in that proposal, they doubled it to 2 miles. I'm just showing the mile there because that's not final yet, but it shows how, with some of the accidents that have happened and Satartia incident, these are a lot more dangerous than they thought, and that's why they've doubled the zone of that.
Thanks.
Okay? So as you see on my sheet, Shelby County Hazardous Liquid Pipeline Zoning Ordinance Comparison Summary. I just went through an example of the maps, and I will email you guys so you have it on your computer, the maps and what I go over to. Okay? The maps display, as I said, the CO2 pipeline route to Shelby County, including the number of dwelling units, animal confinements, and feedlots along the route. Without zoning ordinance protection, as it sits today, the affected units, within the 1,000-foot setback through Shelby County, there's 16 dwellings. There's 1 animal confinement and feedlot in that 1,000 foot, so you got a total of 17. Outside the 1,000-foot setback, up to that mile of response, there's 363. It's a pretty large number. Dwellings and 7 animal confinements, feedlots. So it's 370. Now, if you overlay what we've done here in our ordinance if the courts rule our ordinances are there to stay, we've reduced the number within the setback by 100%. There'd be none in there. Because the pipeline would be moved. we've reduced the 370 down to 106, 71%. I looked at a carbon dioxide study that the Nevada emergency director put together up there. He has like a flume modeling thing. And first responders, they call this a red zone, okay? And the red zone for an 8-inch pipeline with 15-mile valves, they initially said originally we were gonna have 20-mile valves. And then it's 15, and I seen the last map that Mike received, they have one south of Harlan. So I don't know what's happening, but just looking at valves 15 miles apart, they call it immediate death within 495 feet. They call it engines will stall at 700 feet. So both of those are in that 1,000-foot setback we have for protection. Human function decline is 1,819 feet, again for an 8-inch line. This study is a worst case scenario for a pipeline rupture, which first emergency first responders will follow. There's no wind, temperature variables in this study. Okay, so it's just you take all that in consideration. If you have a wind, like we talked about at Harlan, of course it's going to go a lot further on the downwind side. On the upwind side, no, it ain't hardly going to go anywhere. So there's a lot of variables here, but we're considering none of that plays a part of it. Currently, no hazardous CO2 pipeline setback standards have been implemented at the state or federal level for public protection. If we lose our suit for protection, guys, there's nothing out there to help us or anybody else. That's sad. Back over 50 years ago, it was stated up at the Iowa Utility Board, the state legislature in Iowa gave counties that jurisdiction authority of implementing land use and zoning ordinances for protection, not just for hazardous things, but we're in charge of the intentions of how ag land, which is what we're dealing with here, how that's being used. Well, now they want to take that away from us. As illustrated, local zoning ordinance setbacks are a proactive approach in reducing the number of units within the red zone corridor versus the reactive approach of depending solely on a one-shot emergency response plan for saving innocent lives. Because if we're not allowed to proactively get them out of the way, if a rupture should occur, it's all up to emergency management to get there and get people out of there. Remember, you can't see it, you can't smell it.
Right.
Setbacks reduce risks. Setbacks protect the county's land use intentions and help address our public health concerns when a CO2 release should occur. Shelby County and its residents deserve to be proactively protected. Let's pray that the courts will allow counties to protect themselves. So that's really where we're at right now. But I felt it was important to see, okay, what would our ordinances actually do? Okay. Questions?
This is great.
Good information.
Nice seeing a visual.
Yeah. Okay, and I'll forward it on to you, and if anybody approaches you with like a copy or something, just have them get a hold of me and I can forward it on.
Appreciate you sharing that information.
Okay, and I'll let you know also when I learn more on the market.
All right.
Okay,
Thanks, Steve.
guys.
Thanks, Steve.
And best.
This might
Isn't
be
Trump gonna save us here from this bullshit?
I don't know.
I guess this might be a time too to let the public know that on March 4th at our Board of Supervisors meeting, there will be a representative from Summit Carbon Solutions at our meeting to answer questions and provide some more information.
March 4th?
March 4th is our next meeting, first Tuesday in March. That's not ironclad, but they've told me they will be here. So I've got to have some more communication with them and
Yeah, thanks.
get that nailed down, but that's their intention anyway. So.
Yeah.
Anything further? All right. Next on the agenda, Chris Frederickson.
Morning.
Hi,
Morning,
Chris.
How are you all?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. It's a little chilly out.
No.
Everything starts somewhere?
temporary. Yes, everything started
Good.
and everything stayed runing.
Well, that's better.
It
I was
is.
surprised my pickup started.
It's hard on everything. It'd been easier to stay in the house. Okay, we'll take care of a couple official items first if we can. First one is consider approval of the resolution 2025-10. What this does, it piggybacks off of our right-of-way permit and just sets a few fees for things in the right-of-way, as well as if we need to do inspections or anything. It sets the hourly rate for myself, my assistant, road foreman, things like that. Just gives us a little coverage and like I say, clarifies our existing right-of-way permit is what it does. So I don't know if you have any questions on it or anything like that, but
You didn't send that out, did you? Did you send that out to us prior to?
did it go out prior?
I didn't think I saw that attachment, but not that I need to.
I don't remember seeing it attached. but-
I didn't
Okay.
see it.
If it's all kind of boilerplate.
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. Okay, yeah, everything's pretty standard and nothing too exciting, so.
Any questions? Any more questions on that?
Motion approved.
Motion from Charlie,
And a second?
second from Mike, all in favor?
Aye.
Great. Next thing is the approval of the 28E agreement, and what this is an agreement between not only Shelby County, but all the other counties that are in this competitive highway bridge grant, between all of us and the state, and it sets forth what's expected, what happens in this grant if we receive it. Projects have to be bundled together, so counties will work with each other as far as administration, and then multiple projects get turned in under one county. So it kind of outlines how that works. It also outlines the administration costs. There's a few costs associated with the development of this grant, and all that will be divided between all the applicants. So it's just reimbursement from us back to the state and agreements on how that all will function. So the only thing right now, like I say, that Shelby County will be responsible for as far as costs is just this initial development. And nothing's been set with how that is, but it will be divided equally between all of us, so.
Is this for the project on 24?
Yes, this would be what we're shooting for the federal grant on the culvert under F-24 west of Irvine. So.
And the Farm Bureau sounded like they would write you a letter of recommendation.
Great, I
so-
will get that to them, and I know that will help. Like I say, if we can get some funding for that, it would be beneficial for Shelby County anyway, so. It's one of those
We've done,
things you
what,
don't see.
4
in-
projects on that grant already?
2.
2?
There was 2 on Lindman.
Yeah.
So it does help quite a lot.
Yeah.
And it sounds positive, it sounds like this will happen, so I hope, without being overly positive, that we will get some funding, so.
Great.
I just need official action on this, so as long as you,
Can we get a motion to consider approval of a 28E cooperative agreement for a competitive highway bridge program grant project?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion from Mike, second from Charlie. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
couple just quick things, I think you probably know, but it snowed repeatedly the last few days. Trucks were out Saturday, Sunday, and yesterday across the county trying to keep pavements as clear as they could be, I know. Motor graders we sent out on Sunday just in the northern part of the county. The majority of the snow to that point was confined up there, not exclusively, but the heavier amounts. So they were out, had everything one lane. We are all out today. All motor graders are out, all trucks are out, touching up spots on the highway, so. Trying to
I did have some phone calls, where's the motor grader, and it's just, they have big routes. They're typically around
They do.
100 miles.
Summer routes,
70.
are 90, right around 90. Winter routes are 55 to 6, a short 60, 58.
So it can take, depending on where the maintainer starts and stops, it can take a while to get to you. So
It
normally
does.
they run the same route, and in time you can kind of
You can
gauge
your
when
time.
they will kind of be there according to storms, because no storm's the same, but,
No, and then you get, it keeps snowing and it keeps blowing, and
Yeah.
if we do come through and it blows back in, and,
yeah,
It's
it doesn't no good, so.
right,
So,
winter's not fun in general,
yeah,
so.
so we've been pretty spoiled.
We choose to live here
Yeah.
for some reason.
That's right, that's right. So we are out and we are
Yep.
trying to get everybody opened up, and like I spoke the last snow, we do still leave some snow on the road just to try and keep some of the rock. You know, I'm sure it's tough to gauge in that machine too, how close you're getting at some point, and some point there's areas that get a little extra left, but like I say, we're out again and we'll try and get some more of that pushed off, so,
Very good.
all right.
Is that all for
That's
today?
all I've got for right now.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, gentlemen.
I don't see
I do
Todd.
not see Todd. His car must not have started. Suzanne?
I could have given him a ride. He's just right down the street from me. Good morning.
Good morning.
I am here to represent Frank Powers as chairman of the Compensation Board. The Compensation Board met on January 23rd to discuss the 2026 salaries. Taryn was great in emailing out spreadsheets ahead of time this year, so we were able to look at those and review those, and we felt like we did a pretty good job getting the 3 courthouse positions, being the auditor, the recorder, and the treasurer, more in line with the counties of similar size. So we did a pretty good job of that last year with the flat increase and the 4% increase. So for this year, we have, after some discussion and looking, like I said, comparing with other counties of similar size, we recommend an increase of 3.5% for the county attorney, auditor, recorder, treasurer, and supervisor positions. The motion further stipulated, and we'd like to recommend that these positions are allowed to receive stipends over and above salary as approved by the Board of Supervisors. We did look at the sheriff separately, which we also did last year. Last year he only got a 1% increase in order to give the courthouse positions a little, bring them more in line with other counties. Neil actually brought a proposal to the board with a request for a 6% increase. We looked at that, we looked at his proposal. He compared the Shelby County salary with some chief police salaries that were in cities of similar size population as Shelby County. So after reviewing all of that, the recommendation was made to increase the sheriff's position by 9.5%. And that motion also would include a recommendation to include stipends over and above the salary. We also recommended an annual stipend for the auditor to receive in preparing the budget. We did not include an amount, and that would be up to you guys to set. We further made one more recommendation to have an annual stipend for $1,500 for the supervisor chair over and above the regular salary. The last thing we looked at was the longevity schedule, which is included in the Shelby County Employees Handbook. And the committee as a whole kind of felt like and that's to try and keep people on and keep people staying in Shelby County for long periods of time, try and retain them. And we felt like the numbers that are in that, we feel like we should follow that handbook for all the employees of the county for the elected positions. But we felt like those, the increases or the longevity schedule was a little low. So we recommended that they look at the longevity schedule and possibly for some changes for next year, and then we would follow whatever they decide to do. So for this year, we are recommending that the allowances for longevity match what's in the Shelby County Handbook. And that was the last recommendation we talked about.
That was a good meeting. You guys covered a lot of territory in that meeting.
Yep.
All 3 of us were there.
A lot of research in, we appreciate that.
Well, we appreciate getting the information ahead of time. That was very, very helpful in allowing us to do a little legwork before we got here, so.
Okay.
She does a good job.
She does, she does. She does, very responsive, so.
Thank you very much for your
Thank you,
time and
Brian.
effort, and
You're welcome.
Thank you, family.
Thank you.
You bet. All right, next on the agenda, elected official salaries for FY '26.
So that would be just
In the, go, it's in the paper? Or
No,
you,
this is just what she presented.
what she
right?
you want us
presented.
set what she presented?
Yeah.
Gotcha, okay.
I've been struggling with the sheriff's increase. You know, Neil recommended 6%. And with the budget we've got to work with right now, I don't know if we need to go all the way down to 6%, but I'm not real comfortable with the 9.5%. We can reduce it, right? We can't raise it.
You can change any of them individually,
Okay.
up or down.
I would just ask you guys what you think about that. You know, if Neil's comfortable with the 6, and, you know, maybe we go 7 or something, but because that affects all the deputies as well, so it's a big chunk of money when you go up 1%, every percent makes
He's been really good
difference.
with us,
Mhm.
working on the back to blue law, trying to get in where the state says.
We
it's
do need to
supposed
catch
be.
up, but I think it needs to be done over a little more time
Yeah.
than
I would go along with what Neil wanted.
6%.
Yeah.
That's kind of where my
He's
thinking
pretty
was.
level-headed.
Yeah,
We need an action item for that,
For each of them, yeah.
for each one?
need to do them separately then.
You can do, I can just.
Want to do them all?
6% and then I'll,
Okay.
List them all or do each one?
I can list them all.
Okay.
Okay.
The next will be the 3.5 for the department heads. Everybody good with
Good on
that?
that
You
one.
bet.
Yep.
So then you
Okay.
got county attorney, recorder, treasurer, auditor,
Yep,
Yep.
And
3.5.
yep.
And supervisors on that one as well.
Supervisors are part-time, so they don't have that, but then you have the 1,500 per,
Mhm.
Oh, I thought she said that was supervisors were included in it. Okay.
Anybody
so
else
you
want
got
to
the
listen?
1,500 for the chair.
Yes.
So 6% share, 3.5 for attorney, recorder, treasurer, auditor, and then the longevity.
Mm-hmm.
Good with longevity.
Yep.
And are there other stipends in there that we need to?
This will just be
budget?
for the salaried ones.
Okay.
Okay, so do we have a motion to approve the 3.5 for the, you want to list them again? So I don't miss them.
Attorney, recorder, treasurer, auditor.
Okay,
Motion,
and it's 6% for the sheriff
motion.
and longevity. Got a motion from Charlie,
Second?
second from Mike. Any other further discussion?
And the 1,500 for the chair.
And the 1,500 for the chairs. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Consider approval of publication of wages for the Shelby County employees in the calendar year 2024. And you have a listing of that,
Yep, Melissa put that together for me.
okay? So, motion to post this?
Make the motion?
Second?
Motion by Mike, second by Charlie. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any committee reports?
We've got a few things, a pretty busy couple of weeks here. I won't spend too much time on any of them, but we did the county website redesign. I don't know if you guys were on that call. It was a Zoom thing. So it should make the website more appealing and easier to navigate for the public. I took tours of the ambulance service, the EMS, the jail, and I stayed in on district court just to see how our county attorney operates and how that all goes. So those were very informative visits for each of those. I won't go into details, but learned a lot during those things. Attended the EMA Commission meeting on February 6th, and that largely dealt with updates on staffing and continued countywide assistance for first responders. Was the subject of that meeting for the most part. Conference board, Tony will probably give us a report sometime on that. Talked about property valuations and compared our assessors' salary and whatnot with positions across the state, see how we're doing there. All of us attended the Farm Bureau meeting on the 13th. We had a question and answer period for those guys. Budget and roads, of course, were the two hot topics for conversation for that. And I've been corresponding with Summit Carbon Solutions again on setting up a meeting with those folks, and it sounds like that will happen on the 4th. So that's kind of what I've been up to.
All right. I don't have any pressing changes, just normal business at my committees. Charlie?
That's the way I am. The last week of the month, there's no meetings for me.
Yeah.
Then it starts all over again.
That's right. Any department heads want to report? Nope? We're good? Okay, then we're going to go ahead and recess and go into budget workshops at this time. Thank you all.